I am currently conducting a training program for a large UK company on how to communicate effectively in a business environment, and especially regarding your slide writing skills, regarding how you set up professional business presentations, for instance in PowerPoint. And one of the things I felt most people struggled with is how to adapt my presentation to my audience. And not only regarding my personal communication style, but also regarding how I set up my slides, how I set up my pages in a presentation software. In this video, we're going to talk about exactly that. I'm going to talk about a very powerful framework that can help you adapt your communication style to your audience. And we're going to discuss different types of business documents and how these different documents need to be adapted to be a good fit to your audience. Hi guys, my name is Heinrich and welcome to another coffee break with Firm Learning. Hope you're all enjoying the weekend and also got yourself a great coffee as I just did. For those of you who watch me the first time, this channel Firm Learning is all about making you successful in the first years of your career. And one of the topics I like to frequently talk about here are technical skills. Are the technical skills like PowerPoint, how you can step up your PowerPoint game to the next level, because the truth just is in most business organizations, tools like PowerPoint are frequently used, and it's just super important, especially as a young professional, just to master these tools and to perform with these tools well. So as I announced in the beginning, today is going to be all about how to adapt your message to your audience. And if you're taking any value out of this video at all, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also hit the subscribe button to not miss any of the videos I'm releasing every single week. And if you want to see even more from me, also follow me on my Instagram. My handle is Firm Learning. And I also have a mailing list where I share regular tips and tricks on how to be successful in the first years of your career. So if you're interested in that, there's a link in the video description to this mailing list as well. But now without further ado, let's jump into it. How can you tailor your communication, your presentations better to your audience? And just to kick this off, I just want to briefly talk about why it is even necessary to tailor your message to your audience. And in a business context, it is easy to recognize that you are being confronted with all kinds of communicative settings. You might sit together with your team and talk about the progress of your individual work, for instance directly with your team lead, or you're having a job fix with members of other teams, of other departments, cross functions, or you're even presenting in front of your senior management, maybe in front of your board members. And I hope that it is obvious that of course the expectations of your board members will be very different than the expectations of your direct teammates, and what you need to say and how you need to communicate that will highly differ based on whom you talk to, based on whom your audience is. So let's start by talking about a basic framework which helped me to understand what the different factors at play are, what I might need to look out for to understand how I should adapt my message. And this basic framework is called the communication triangle. And based on this communication triangle, there are three things that you need to be aware of, that you need to take into consideration when you want to frame and adapt your message in the right way. And the first dimension of this triangle is your personal style or even your company culture. Of course, not all presentations need to look the same. It can differ whether it's you presenting or somebody else. Everybody brings his own personal style to the table. And yes, it is completely fine and completely appropriate to let your presentation be influenced by your personal style, by your way of handling things. And on one level further, beyond your personal style, of course, there's also such a thing as company culture. Probably if you work for instance, one of the GAFA companies such as Facebook, the way the communication is done will be very different than, for instance, in one of the old school tech companies like Siemens here in Germany. So ask yourself, what is the culture that I'm in? And also ask yourself, what is your personal style that you want to bring to the table? And then yes, this is the first dimension of you asking yourself how you want to go about presenting the message that you want to present. But of course, in a business setting, there's more to it than just your personal style, because there is such a thing as an objective occasion that you put yourself in. There are different types of objective occasions, and as per these different occasions, there are certain rules that are just expected that people follow if they put themselves in these occasions. And now again, you can differentiate between sitting in a boardroom, sitting together with board members and presenting something to them, or just sitting with your direct colleagues colleagues, or maybe with an intern that you supervise and you want to present a couple of ideas to your intern. These are all different objective occasions, and the way that you present your message, the way that you communicate should be influenced by this objective occasion. So again, always ask yourself, what is the objective occasion that I'm now putting myself into, and what likely are the expectations that are surrounded by this objective occasion that you're putting yourself into. Now, the third dimension are the audience expectations. Even within one objective occasion or within one company, the audience expectations, the expectations of the different members that you are going to talk to will be different. And just one basic example from my experience now looking at this boardroom setting are the expectations of different boardroom members. How beautiful, for instance, PowerPoint pages need to be made. So is it fine to just copy a table, for instance, from an Excel sheet into a presentation and present that to your board members? I've seen many large companies where many board members are completely fine with that, and this is completely meeting their expectations. But then I've also seen other companies where board members just expect that in their board meetings, people really do an effort of making all pages look beautiful, designing them properly, and really beautifying all these pages. So ask yourself now, independent from your culture, your personal style, or the objective occasion, what will be the expectations of the people that you meet when you sit together, when you hold your presentation, and then also take this into consideration when you're adapting your style. Now that we have an understanding of the different factors in play about how to tailor your message, let's think about the typical documents that you create and how these considerations impact these documents. And let's start by talking about a simple team alignment document. And what I envision here is now a setting where you sit together with your teammates, maybe your direct team lead, and you're having a discussion, some kind of an alignment on your personal work. Maybe you need some decisions from your teammates or some other things you'd like to talk about, sitting together and presenting a basic document. And what's important with these documents is that you should rather just be as brief, as concise, as simple as possible. In most settings, don't waste too much time for creating beautiful pages. There is no need to create elaborated storylines. So maybe you've seen some of my videos on good slide writing principles. While these are highly relevant to many of the other document types you're going to talk about in a minute, don't waste your effort and energy on that. This document type should be about just having an efficient, quick meeting with your team members, just putting a few ideas on a piece of paper and not wasting too much time thinking about the whole presentation and making beautiful pages. The second type of documents are so-called Jour fixe documents. And of course here it might change quite significantly company by company what exactly a Jour fixe is, how this is handled, what type of people sit in, and so please adjust that based on these factors. But in general, Jour fixes are used to sit together with people also from other teams, other departments, other functions, and align on the progress on certain projects or other important initiatives that you are working on. And here I still believe that the focus should not be too much about creating beautiful pages. These should be rather very hands-on meetings where you sit together with the people aligning and just getting the perspectives. Though in contrast to these documents that just stay in your team, in the safe space of your team, with Jour fixe documents like that, here quality is now much more important. For the reason that these documents will be easily sent around the departments. Other people might see and read these documents who weren't even sitting in the meeting. And here it's now very easy and quick to just confuse people. If your pages are not set up properly, if your pages do not follow good slide writing practices, then you will have very quickly a problem and people will be confused. And this might even create some political issues in your company, in your organization, if you don't work it in the right way. So if you want to learn more about what these good slide writing principles are, then I would highly recommend you. I have a whole playlist on this channel with videos that I created on this topic. I will link it somewhere above here, so check that out for these good slide writing practices. And if you're really serious to improve your slide creation game and create business presentations that follow the standards of top consulting firms such as BCG or McKinsey, I created a whole online course on that that topic. I have over 10,000 students already taking that course, so if you believe this is something that might interest you as well, I have a discount link to the course in the video description below, so feel free to check it out. There's also lots of student reviews for you to read to better understand it. One final tip that I have for you regarding these JoFix documents: make sure that in the beginning when you set up a JoFix, you align on a basic agenda with the other members of the JoFix, so that you already have a skeleton for the document aligned and you don't need to think about every time you have these weekly JoFixes from scratch how you should structure it, what the things are that you should put into it. Next is board level type of documents or other types of documents that you are going to present in front of senior leadership of your organization. Here now all these slide writing and storylining principles that I talk so much about in all these other videos and also my online course, this is where you really need to nail it. This is where this is so important. Just put yourself into the shoes of a board member of a large blue chip company. He will likely have 20, 30, 40, 50 projects going on in parallel. There are all these initiatives, all these teams he is responsible for, and that are regularly presenting updates to him. It is so easy to get completely derailed in these kind of meetings for little minor details in how your presentation is structured, for little inaccuracies on your pages. Here, be super diligent when you create your document to really meet first the objective occasion of these kind of meetings, but then also the expectations that many of these senior managers, that many of these senior leaders will have. When I worked at McKinsey, one of the partners used to tell me, Heinrich, when you present at board meetings, you just need to keep it as simple as possible. Use very basic language. Do not use any fancy, complicated technical terms. Use high font sizes on your page. Don't use very little nitty-gritty text that nobody's going to read anyway. Keep it simple and to the point, and this is then where you will win in these kind of meetings. Next are documents that are created for an external audience, for instance in investor relations, or if you sit together with your banks, your lending institutions, or any other occasion where external stakeholders are involved. And here I believe that the principles that you need to apply are very close to what is expected in a board level setting, meaning that of course you should hold yourself to the highest quality standards out there. But on top of that, be aware that these external documents often have legal implications. For instance, if you work in the finance department, you need to be very careful what claims you make around the liquidity of your company, especially maybe if your company is in a tough financial position at the moment. So make sure that you consult with your legal team, with your PR team, with all the other experts that you have in your organization to make sure that your documents meet these higher standards. And last but not least, let's talk about documents that are mainly used for documentation. So these are documents which maybe never get presented, but it's rather about documenting certain things, how things work, how certain processes are set up. And what's of course important here is now to really get into the details and be super specific and detailed. And contrasting that with board level style of presentations where you use very high font sizes, where you try to not get too much into the detail, where you try to not get too complicated. With these documentation documents, of course it's going to be lots of text. Of course you're going to use lots of words. You're going to make it very detailed and very specific because this is what this document is all about. And here, even more important than with other documents, is that this document needs to stand for itself. And what this means is that maybe if somebody 1 year from now or 2 years from now picks up this document, and maybe all the members who worked on the document in the first place are not in the organization anymore, then this person is able to understand everything out of the document in itself without anybody needing to stand next to it and to explain it to him. So the document needs to stand for itself and needs to be self-sufficient in the way that the information is presented. So these were my thoughts on how you adapt your presentations, your documents to your audience. Very much hope that this makes sense. Let me know in the comments below what your opinion is, whether you have any questions. I do my best to answer every single comment that you write. Again, if you took any value out of the video at all, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also subscribe to my channel and also turn on the notification bell to make sure that you're really informed about every single video, because otherwise YouTube might not show my videos even if you subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, my handle is Firm Learning, and also don't forget to sign up to my email newsletter if you want to hear even more from me. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate your time. I hope that I delivered value to you with this video. Next one is going to come next Saturday as every week. So looking forward to that. And until then, good weekend to all of you. Cheers, guys.